Where do you think what's your bull case now? Because your new price target's 1100, so we're there. What's your new bull case?
Well, bull case is 1500, and I believe
1500.
It's 1500. I think this is just a march to eventually, when we look out the next 18, 24 months, there's no reason this can't go to a $2 trillion market cap, just given what we're seeing in EV demand. And it speaks to our thesis. This is a fourth industrial revolution that's playing out in front of us. And Tesla, obviously, on EVs now, I think just more taking notice as to what's happening. And it's real because now you're starting to see it show up in the numbers.
Hey, I'm Steven and this is Solving the Money Problem. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. So as Tesla stock continues on its phenomenal run, breaking through $1,000 per share, then $1,100 per share, and as I record this with market closed, sitting at a $1.1 trillion market cap, I'm going to be reacting to some comments from Wedbush analyst Dan Ives, who has a $1,500 per share bull case price target for Tesla stock over the next 12 months. And also believes that Tesla isn't that far away from becoming a $2 trillion company, and also has some truly ridiculous and embarrassing comments about some of Tesla's so-called competition. I recently ran a poll on Twitter asking you guys and girls when you think Tesla will hit a $2 trillion market cap, and these are the results. Over 46% saying 2022 or sooner, 37% 2023 or later, 10% at 2024, and just 6.6% at 2025 or later. So basically half of you are expecting Tesla stock to approximately double in the next 12 to 14 months, aka Tesla stock to Mars. I'm sure everybody knows the drill by now. There's a link in the description if you want your own Tesla stock to Mars merchandise. These are great presents to give to all the friends and family you're told to buy Tesla stock who didn't listen to you. I'm just kidding, don't do that, they'll probably get mad. And I can confirm that 100% of the proceeds from merch sales on the merch store go towards taking a little bit of Tesla stock off the market. And if you're not too familiar with stock market dynamics, in essence, if nobody's selling Tesla stock, but somebody wants to buy Tesla stock, guess what happens to the price of Tesla stock? If you're not sure, the answer is literally on this merch design. Just trying to do my little part. Now back to Dan Ives' $1,500 bull case price target for Tesla stock. Believe it or not, this is not currently the highest price target on Wall Street, and keeping in mind, this is Dan Ives' bull case. Tesla stock has already blown through his base case price target. Just a few months ago, this was a very different story, but after Tesla's blowout Q3 results, there has been an absolute tsunami of analyst price target upgrades, one after the other, after the other, after the other. And of course, the same thing is going to happen after Tesla's blowout Q4 results. And yeah, guess what happens in Q1 2022? Same thing. Q2, same thing, I could keep going on. It's going to be a recurring theme for many quarters to come. As I record this, the average price target for Tesla stock on Wall Street is just over $800 per share. Even my bear case price target is significantly above this. And my bear case price target, I'm giving about a 5% probability. It is a train wreck disaster. Everything that possibly could go wrong does go wrong scenario. Obviously, my base case is much higher than my bear case, and my bull case even higher than that. And between my base case and bear case, I have about a 95% probability. In other words, I think there's a long way for Tesla stock to go. And as I've mentioned, if you want access to my Tesla stock price targets, the bear case, base case, and the bull case, join Patreon. There's a card in the corner. You'll gain access to my price targets, which are always updated every time my Tesla valuation model changes, which continues to evolve every time I get new information to integrate. And of course, you'll get access to a ton of exclusive content, almost 100 Q&As, a bunch of exclusive videos, and more. So check out the link in the description if you're not already supporting the channel on Patreon. And special shout out to all the new Patreon members who've joined this month, now over 500. I really appreciate your support. So let's get into the video. If you love crypto, stocks, and free stuff, or just want to help out the channel, check out these great offers. BlockFi are launching the world's first Bitcoin rewards credit card. People in the US can earn 1.5% Bitcoin back on every purchase with no annual fee using the BlockFi Bitcoin rewards credit card. Check out the link in the description. And for a limited time, you can get up to $250 in crypto bonuses when funding a new account on BlockFi, where you can use cryptocurrency to earn interest, borrow cash, and buy or sell crypto. If you want your free crypto, use the link in the description. And if you'd like up to 2 free stocks, check out the link in the description to WeBull. If you open a new account, you'll get 1 free stock valued up to $300 just for opening an account. And if you make an initial deposit of $5 or more, you'll get a second free stock valued up to $2,000. Seriously, Free stocks? Yes, please. And finally, if you're in Australia, the UK, or New Zealand, you can get a free stock with stake, also linked in the description. Thanks so much for your support, guys. Let's get back to it.
Joining us now on the telephone, Dan Ives, Managing Director, Equity Research, Wedbush Securities. Dan, I'm so glad you're here. First of all, you were the very first person to tell me Tesla 1000. And you'd been saying it. You can tell me the first time you made that call, but I remember it was at $600. I remember telling my children, Dan Ives said $1,000 for Tesla. How long have you been calling for that? And we've certainly broke through that.
Well, yeah, no, and obviously there was a 5-for-1 split, right? So you're looking at the stock really split adjusted. It's about 5,000. And
now, I'm sure most people watching will know, but for the few people who don't, and yes, I do read all the comments, so I've seen a few people that aren't aware of this. Tesla stock did a 1-for-5 split last year, meaning that every one share became 5, but became 1/5, 20% of the previous value. Tesla's shares didn't split if there wasn't a stock split. Every one share of Tesla today would be about $5,500 per share. And the absolutely crazy thing is that less than 3 years ago, in May 2019, Tesla stock was on sale, split adjusted for $37 per share. It's increased about 30 times in less than 3 years since that point. And I would know I actually purchased some stock at that time, liquidated everything else in my stock portfolio, which, let's be honest, wasn't a huge percent of my stock portfolio anyway. Went completely all in, literally all in on Tesla stock. The stock was dipping. I'm like, dude, this is the bargain of the century. And sure enough, 30x in less than 3 years, it turned out to be exactly that. To give you guys context, I bought 60 shares at the time for a total of under $2,500. And today, those 60 shares are worth almost $65,000. Just goes to show how powerful an approximate 30x increase in even a relatively small amount of capital can be. Could Tesla stock 30x again? I think so. Let me know in the comments below, if Tesla stock did increase by 30x, what would your portfolio look like? And just out of interest, let me know in the comments below if you guys and girls would like to see a video on whether or not I think Tesla stock is going to split again.
look, I mean, my view is $1 trillion is not a fad. In other words, this is a company that more and more of the street are starting to realize that this green tidal wave is real. And I think that's how you're starting to see this re-rating in Tesla's stock. And of course, the Hertz deal, I continue to view as a tipping point in terms of overall demand.
I mean, the Hertz deal is unbelievable. This is the most EVs ever ordered, right? 100,000 for Hertz and 50,000 of those going to Uber drivers. It is only the beginning in the world of EVs. I'm not sure. Does this open up for other fleets? For what? For what could possibly come next?
Well, I mean, and you're talking about 2 million cars, right? So this is just another broader opportunity that Tesla and ultimately down the road Ford and GM will go after in terms of EVs. And in the U.S., it's still 2% automotive is EVs today. And we think that's going to 10% by 2025.
It's hard to know what planet this guy is on sometimes, honestly. If Dan Ives truly believes that in the United States in 2025, just 10% of new vehicles sold will be EVs, he needs his head checked. Actually, he just needs his sources checked and his ability to understand and reason. You know, I think I'm going to need to make a video doing a deep dive and explaining exactly why all these estimates for EV adoption in the United States and globally are just way off the mark to the downside. People are absolutely underestimating, significantly underestimating how quickly EV adoption will take place. If you're interested in that video, let me know in the comments. Happy to do it. I think I'll probably need to anyway. And I'd love a few of you guys and girls to keep me accountable, so feel free, set a reminder to check back in early 2026. Remind me that I was roasting Dan Ives thinking it would be just 10% EV adoption in 2025 in the US, and we'll see how we went.
Now, obviously, that's why GM going through, obviously, clear sort of short-term pain for long-term gain, which I think is a big part of the transformation that Mary's leading at GM. But this is something where it's the biggest changes to the auto industry since the 1950s. And Tesla, in EV land, Tesla's world and everyone else paying rent at this point.
And so when you talk about competition, Tesla's able to raise prices despite competition. We've seen other automakers having to raise prices too. Tell me more about Tesla's growth going forward and the competitors in the EV world. Are there any really, at least in the near term?
Well, and also it's not a zero-sum game, I mean, in other words, we talk about a $5 trillion market over the next decade. Many are going to benefit. GM, Ford, among others, VW, pure plays like Lucid Motors, Faraday, and others. And and I think when you look at Tesla, I mean, they have an ironclad ownership of EVs today. But what you're starting to see now is that more and more adoption starting to really ratchet up. I mean, let's call it 900,000 vehicles this year. Now with capacity build outs in Berlin and Austin, that could be 2 million next year. And I think it actually doubles the next 1 to 2 years after that. And I think that's how this story really starts to change, because also it's the margin. It's the margin story starting to take hold. That's the difference in the story. And it comes down to the haters will hate. They hate it at $100. They'll hate it split adjusted at 5,000. But those are the same people. If they were NFL scouts, they were probably negative on Tom Brady in the 2000 draft.
Good. That's a good analogy. So where do you think what's your bull case now? Because your new price target's 1,100. I saw it at 1094. So we're there. What's your new bull case?
Well, bull case is 1,500. And I believe
1,500.
It's 1,500. I think this is just a march to eventually, when we look out the next, 18, 24 months, there's no reason this can't go to a $2 trillion market cap.
Can't argue with that. Let me know in the comments below. When do you guys and girls think Tesla can hit a $2 trillion market cap? Leave your guess in the comments.
Just given what we're seeing in EV demand. And it speaks to our thesis, this is a fourth industrial revolution that's playing out in front of us. And Tesla, obviously, on EVs now, I think just more taking notice as to what's happening, and it's real because now you're starting to see it show up in the numbers.
There's so many parts of Tesla that are interesting, right? The robo-taxi plan, that's something that I know you wanted to talk about. Battery storage facilities, that would be something else. Charging assets. You talked about margins. For example, in Shanghai, they put out more cars in Shanghai and they sold them in China, and they did exceptionally well. So you have Berlin and Austin. Those are some more factories coming down the pipe. What really sticks out to you for Tesla that we need to focus on?
I think what sticks out now is their biggest constraint, supply. I mean, right now, demand's outstripping supply by about 10 to 15%.
What? Now, I don't know where Dan Ives is pulling these numbers from, but I really hope he's thoroughly disinfected his hands. I'm definitely going to need to make that video explaining why Tesla effectively has unlimited demand. People really don't seem to understand this. It just seems like there's no way it's possible that Tesla could sell every single vehicle they make for years to come. But I am here to tell you that is exactly what is going to happen. Count on it.
But helps on the way in terms of what you're seeing with the Austin, Berlin build out. And of course, China. Think about earlier this year, demand headwinds, now they're tailwinds. So I think if supply comes on board, then what you're going to start to see take hold is the next leg of the EV story, not just for Tesla, but it also speaks to our view on a GM. I mean, selling GM today is a comedy show because I view that's a stock that ultimately could be a double in the next 12 to 18 months on EV.
Are you fucking kidding me, dude? Dan Ives just implied that selling GM stock today, not a smart decision. He believes the stock could double over the next year. Now, let me be clear, first of all, the stock market is full of people. The average person, pretty dumb. I don't know if you've noticed that. So it's certainly possible the GM stock could increase substantially over the next 12 plus months. However, that doesn't change the inevitable fate of this company, who are most likely going to be bankrupt before the end of this decade. They have incompetent leadership, have no idea what they're doing, have raised a number of red flags, suggesting that they're acting from a place of sheer desperation. They have no idea what they are doing. So again, to be clear, I acknowledge that the stock market can be irrational. It can be completely brain dead. So anything could happen to GM stock. After all, we only need to take a cursory glance at the valuation of Lucid, or look at the number of brain dead morons who invested in Nikola stock. Yeah, I said it, brain dead morons. There was literally no valid excuse to own that stock, period. And yet Nikola stock temporarily went to the moon, ended up with an enormous market capitalization based on a few renders of obviously vaporware products, allegedly, and some clearly inaccurate, deceptive, and fraudulent statements from their charlatan of an ex-CEO, Trevor Meltdown Milton. By the way, Trevor, I hope you're watching. enjoy your freedom while it lasts, my friend. I never did clean that beach. So of course anything could happen to GM stock over the next 12 months, but here's the thing. Dan Ives implying that it's a bit silly to be selling GM stock is like implying it's a bit silly to be boarding life rafts as your Titanic is about to hit a fucking iceberg. Maybe it won't sink, but I wouldn't be betting on it.
So I'd rather them spend on that transformation, given to where it's all going on the conversion. And that's sort of our broader view on EVs. And obviously Tesla's the first step, but I think this is just part of a broader theme.
So a bit of a mixed bag here from Dan Flip-Flop Ives. On the one hand, I totally agree, his price target, his bull case for Tesla stock of $1,500 per share, absolutely within the realms of possibility. It's lower than my bull case price target for Tesla stock. As I've said, card in the corner, you can access all of my Tesla stock price targets by joining Patreon. However, Dan Ives is completely out of his fucking mind if he thinks that GM has a realistic probability of doubling over the next 12 months, unless he's accounting for morons in the stock market rather than the stock moving based on things that are occurring in reality. Like I said, GM stock could double in the next 12 months, but if it does, it's not because it should, it's because there's so many fucking idiots out in the stock market who think, oh, well, GM can do it. I mean, Tesla did it. It's not like it's hard or anything. I mean, plus Mary Barra is a really good leader. I'm definitely going to buy some GM stock. All in on GM stock. Now, I don't have a crystal ball, but if I did, I have a funny feeling that it would suggest to me that GM stock is headed to Uranus. And no, I don't mean the distant planet. I mean somewhere that GM stock would feel completely at home and among its own kind. A pile of shit. And on the flip side, my crystal ball would most likely tell me that my merch design, Tesla stock to Mars, is an accurate depiction of where Tesla stock will be headed in the coming months and years. Don't forget, link in the description if you want your own Tesla stock to Mars merch, the shirts, mugs, hoodies, and more. I'm Stephen Mark Ryan, this is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. And don't forget the BlockFi Bitcoin Rewards credit card where you can earn 1.5% Bitcoin back on every purchase. There's a link in the description. You can also earn up to $250 in crypto bonuses when funding a new account on BlockFi, also linked below. And finally, don't forget your free stocks with WeBull and Stake, also linked in the description. These great offers also help out the channel. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, if you have any ideas for future videos, let me know. I read all your comments. P.S. If you're still watching, you're awesome. If you'd like early access, exclusive videos, regular Q&As, our private Discord server and more, consider supporting the channel at patreon.com/solvingthemoneyproblem so I can keep creating content for you guys. There's a link in the description. You can now also become a member of the channel for some exclusive perks. To learn more, click the join button next to subscribe. And don't forget to check out our merch store. Either way, the best form of support is you being here and watching, so thanks again.